Hi, this is Pastor Nick Hood. I'm back in Detroit now, and I want to talk about trust. I've been doing podcasting. Some of you may not realize I actually do podcast audio readings of the Bible almost every day. And currently I'm in the first book of Samuel, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th chapters. And it's an interesting story about trust. David has lost the trust of King Saul. David loves Saul. He's actually the son-in-law to Saul, but he can't be safe around Saul because Saul, whenever he's around him, Saul is throwing spears at him. Saul is sending men, 3,000 men after him to kill him. And so David does not trust Saul. So David, in a weird set of circumstances, actually goes to seek asylum with the king of Gath. Now, Gath, G-A-T-H. Think about Gath and the significance of David going to Gath. Goliath, the giant that David kills early in his combative history, is from Gath. And it is Gath that David goes to. The king of Gath, a man named Ashish, takes David in for about a year and 4 months. And David has asylum with Gath. But at some point after this year and 4-month period, the Philistines, which Gath is part of, amass for war against Israel and the forces of Saul. Saul is coming out to fight the Philistines. David is living with the Philistines. The king of Gath, who's part of the Philistines, asked David to come and fight with him. And David and his 600 men suit up to go into battle. But in the process, the other commanders of the Philistine army tell the king of Gath they don't want any part of David being near them. They say, look, isn't this the guy that the women were singing a song where Saul has killed his thousands, but David has killed his tens of thousands? They said, we don't want any part of David. We don't trust David. So you have a series of mistrusts. Saul does not like David. He doesn't trust David because he's jealous of David. David pledges his support and love to Saul, but he doesn't trust Saul because Saul keeps throwing spears at him at dinner. And then you have the armies of the Philistines who do not trust David. The king of Gath trusts David, but his other fellow commanders do not trust David. And so you have a lot of mistrust going on at this part of the Bible. And I want to share this with you because, you know, in the book of Proverbs, it says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart. And some people have a difficult time trusting God. We have a difficult time trusting God because we pray for some things and they just don't happen. We do certain things and sometimes it just doesn't happen. And so there are issues with trust. And frankly, it's not just God that we have sometimes trust issues with, but some people have issues with trust of their human beings. Some of us don't trust our neighbor. Some of us don't trust our wife, our girlfriend, our boyfriend. And it makes me stop for a moment to ask the question, what does it take to build trust? And I think number one, trust is built over time. If you don't have a time factor in a relationship, then you're just guessing. I trust my wife because we've been married 43 years. I hope she can say the same thing about me. But there's some people who really have a very difficult time trusting. And I'm going to be honest, I trust in God because B.B. King says, nobody loves me but my mother, and she may be jiving too. He says it in a kind of funny way, but the truth of the matter is that it's difficult sometimes to trust in human beings. The reason why I'm here today is because I'm on the Script Street in Detroit, and for over a week they've had flooding. And, you know, who can you trust if you cannot trust your own government? Who can you trust if you cannot trust the water department for the city of Detroit? And I would hope that all the people who are looking at this video who live in Detroit, particularly those who live in Jefferson Chalmers area, that's where I am right now, will think about trust and ask yourself, can you trust your government? Now, you know, I want to trust the government, but the reality is that sometimes they just don't come through. These people have been living here for a week with a flood. Part of the flood is behind me, and in a minute I'm going to pan the camera so you can see the other side. And I just think it's not fair for these people to have to live like this. Now the reality is there's a water board truck who's out here today, and they're here to fix a residential issue. They're not here to fix this flood yet, but at least they're seeing it, and hopefully they can take it back to their department. And so again, this is Nick Hood coming to you live from the east side of Detroit. And I want to thank you for watching this podcast, this video. If you like the video, at the end of it, please, I invite you to click like and subscribe. And until the next day, God bless.